But the highest service, do you know what? The level of the thoughts. When you say loving thoughts to people, they travel around. That is why in all our Sai sessions, we have this universal prayer. Samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. May all the worlds be happy. Not only the peace to be confined to only the human beings, but animals, plants, and galaxies, planets, everything. You encompass everything. That is real service. We should progress. But when we do service, Swami says attitude is important. There are many people who do service with an arrogant attitude, condescending attitude. Then service is of no value. For a spiritual seeker, attitude of gratitude is very important. When we serve people, you should thank them for the opportunity. That's the greatest opportunity God has given us to serve. So we should have that attitude of gratitude. And also you should say, you think when you are serving, the attitude is you are serving God. When you do that with that attitude, when you are serving God, you are not giving food to somebody, but you are giving to God. Then you do with love and always with reverence and humility. So that is very important, the attitude what we have. That is why God looks at the heart, the quality of your service. When an old woman put few pence in the coffers in Jerusalem temple, Lord Jesus said she has given more than people who are giving millions of those days, I don't know, whatever the currency is. And even Sai Baba, when he built the super specialty hospital in Puttaparthi, so which was done in a record period of 1 year, so he really was more appreciative of a young boy who gave just 100 rupees, which is equivalent to a couple of dollars, than people who gave millions of dollars in the support of the hospital, but he really recognized. Because God looks at the heart, not at the quantity, but it is the quality. So that attitude is important. And finally, the most important thing when we do service, it should be for our own self-transformation. That is why in Sanskrit there are two words. One is Narayana Seva. When you are doing service, you are doing service to God. Second is, when you are doing serving, you are really serving yourself. For our own transformation of the heart. What is the two important things when we do service? One is purification of the heart. Get rid of all negative tendencies, what I talked about. Selfish desires, anger, greed, attachment, pride and jealousy. That means really we are really getting benefit by service. So, Chitta Shuddhi they call that. So purification of heart is the sine qua non of good service. So we really know whether we are progressing service or not. See how purer we are. That is the test for each of us. That is why Jesus said, one of the Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Purity of heart is very important. And Baba said, purity is enlightenment. The minute you are pure, you are enlightened because you can have the vision of God. So very important, you develop the purity of the heart. Second thing is, as we are listening to the discourse, get rid of our ego. A lot of us, the major problem, sorrow. One is desire, second is ego. I am something, I am very scholarly, I have this degree, I have this position, I have this power, I have so much wealth. All this constitutes an obstacle to our joy and bliss in life. So get rid of this pride. This is the greatest obstacle. So really, once we are doing selfless service, we'll have purity of the heart and we'll have that feeling of equanimity, because everything you think is a gift of God. You treat everything, the ups and downs in life, that everything is from Him. That kind of attitude do when you do the service. So we have been doing this service in more than 110 countries. Actually, following my talk will be Mr. Alex Grana will be talking about the wonderful service activities happening all over the world. So this is the path Baba has shown. The Sai is service, which I said is work, selfless. Do also we call that yoga, karma yoga. And second is adoration, path of love, pure divine love, bhakti yoga, that is worship. And third is wisdom, which is the enlightenment, so illumination. Then we know and experience oneness. Finally, ultimate important is experiencing this oneness. That's when beautiful definition of wisdom, according to Hindu scriptures, Advaita Darshanam Jnanam. If you're really a wise man, the only simple definition, are you seeing only oneness? If you're seeing difference, you are seeing duality, then still you are ignorant. So as long as we see God as separate, nature as separate, and the environment is separate, so then we are having this multiplicity, so we need to see the unity in diversity. So I pray to Baba to give us strength, determination, devotion, so that we tread this path of selfless service, path of love, and path of illumination, so that we live in divine love and we experience oneness. Then our lives are sanctified. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy, for imparting your insightful knowledge, and may we continue to shine in Swami's light and love that he spread on this African continent, and pray that our love is steadfast and unwavering. Mr. Alejandro Grana has been a devoted follower of Sri Sathya Sai Baba since the mid-1980s, experiencing a profound transformation under Swami's direct guidance. In 1993, Alejandro moved to Texas, where he graduated with honors from the University of Texas at Austin with both an undergraduate degree and an MBA. He enjoyed a successful corporate career, retiring as the head of global investments at Tivoli Systems before venturing into entrepreneurship in Austin, Texas. For the past 28 years, Alejandro has dedicated himself to various roles within the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization, including National Service Coordination and U.S. National Council Vice President. Currently, at the international level, Alejandro continues his service as chairman of the SSSIO International Events Committee and member of the SSSIO International Disaster Relief Committee. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Alejandro Grana to give us an overview of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization.
Respected elders, distinguished guests, Excellency, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, and Excellency Kampa, brothers and sisters from Kenya and from all over the world, loving greetings and a blessed good morning to all of you. What a joy it is to be here gathered in this beautiful place with each and every one of you. And how could it not be a blessed and incredibly joyous day if we only ponder upon the incredible fortune that has befallen all of us, not only to have been gifted the awareness of our true purpose in life, that is, to rediscover our innate divinity, and to do so through the path of selfless service, but also to have been gifted the very tool with which to fulfill that very mission. I am referring to the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. Indeed, this organization that was founded in 1963 by our beloved master, Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and which has been nurtured and developed by him ever since. On July 4th, 1968, Sri Satya Sai Baba declared right here in this very beautiful Kenya, "I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts." But it continues. "I have come to tell you of this universal unitary faith, of this path of love, of this duty of love, of this obligation of love." And 56 years later, brothers and sisters, in this very blessed ground of Kenya once again, almost to the date, I am honored to share with you how that mission of love has taken root across 110 countries around the world. Through the spiritual upliftment of millions of people around the world, the transformation of hearts, and the compassionate solace that has been brought to millions of people around the world, rooted on Satya Sai Baba's universal principles to love all, serve all, and help ever, hurt never. To this end, I would like to invite all of you on a brief journey around the world so that we can see some glimpses of the work inspired by Sri Satya Sai Baba and taken up by the Sri Satya Sai International Organization. As we know, the pursuit of any laudable task starts with a solid educational foundation. Thus, we start our journey in this area, but not just with any kind of education. Consistent with Satya Sai Baba's axiom that education is for life and not merely for making a living, the SSSIO propagates educare, meaning education that brings forth that which is already within us. This is accomplished through the work of 39 Satya Sai schools around the world, which provide outstanding academic standards infused with character-based education. And also through the programs carried forth by 28 institutes of Satya Sai education, bringing education in human values not only to students of all levels, but also to professionals and to the community at large. Across the Americas alone, we will find that in 2019, the Satya Sai School in Argentina was recognized by the Ministry of Education for achieving the highest test performance in its jurisdiction. In 2022, the Federal Senate of Brazil honored the contribution of the Institute of Satya Sai Education Brazil for its tireless work in developing value-based education in the country since 1993, with special emphasis on underprivileged families. Similarly, the Satya Sai School in Canada is one of the top ranked in the nation. Most recently, in 2023, a conference in Barbados titled "Strengthening Human Values" was attended by delegates from 17 Caribbean countries, government dignitaries, and local institutions interested in implementing education in human values. In fact, there was a UNICEF officer who attended that conference. He was so touched and inspired by the conference that he stated his wish to open a Satya Sai school upon retirement. But of course, character-based education should manifest in ourselves as compassion for our fellow beings and concern for the welfare of society. Thus, we enter the SSSIO's social care segment. Currently, a myriad of initiatives related to food distribution, care for the elderly, and support for various underserved communities are taking place in almost every Sai center around the world. And most certainly, here in Africa, where nearly 240,000 tons of food were distributed to communities in extreme need during COVID times, as Brother Rao mentioned earlier. In addition, however, the SSIO also takes a deep interest in the homeless and refugees refugee populations around the world. In the United States, SSIO members partner in the Tiny Homes Project, whose goal is to end homelessness in the Seattle area by 2025 by housing the homeless population in transitional villages made up of homes that are just 100 square feet. In Sri Lanka, various village adoption programs have brought clean water, electricity, and sanitary facilities, in addition to the building of nearly 100 homes to so many underserved communities. And in Europe, our volunteers join hands in the distribution of food, essential supplies, and medications to all those displaced, sadly, by war, including orphanages. Likewise, our Humanitarian Relief Committee attends to those impacted by major natural disasters, be it in Haiti, the Philippines, Ecuador, or anywhere else in the world. This is social care. And yet, as Brother Rao also mentioned, we also know that service should start at home. With our own mothers, in fact, and that includes our motherland and Mother Earth. Thus, through its EnviroCare initiatives, the SSSIO is also involved in long-term solutions for environmental sustainability. Since 2023 alone, nearly 400,000 trees have been planted worldwide with the goal of 1 million trees by November of 2025, with, of course, the African continent leading the way. Organic community gardens are being established in various communities with the goal of instilling sustainable farming practices and sharing that harvest with the needy. All the while, our youth organize groups to clean up or adopt beaches, rivers, and parks, and they disseminate programs for practical green living. Now we enter the fourth area of activities in the SSSIO. How could we possibly end this journey without underscoring the impact of the SSSIO's ideal healthcare mission, bringing compassionate physical and mental care completely free of charge to as many remote corners of the world as it is possible. In Fiji, for example, medical services are brought to thousands of patients every single year. A person who had a huge lump on his back, removed in the back of his neck, said, "After so many years, I am able to look up to the skies and thank God personally for this miracle." In Paraguay, Latin America, more than 700 cataract surgeries have been accomplished in communities of great need. One elderly lady, in fact, thanked the SSIO because once again she was able to read her Holy Bible, to read the Word of God, and for that she was eternally thankful. And our most recent highlight, as Brother Rao also mentioned earlier, the very recent medical camps across Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, where more than 5,500 patients were seen. I believe His Excellency was in attendance in those camps. Now, for everybody's benefit, for those of you who have not seen this, I would like to show you just a 3-minute video at this point in time that shows the impact that the work of the organization is having and some glimpses about those medical camps. Can we please cue that video?
We have the best doctors that are here from anywhere in the world. They have come here to render their services free because they believe in mankind, they believe in love.
This idea came up last year. We did camps in Nigeria and Benin, and we noticed the extreme need for help in these countries. We decided to have camps in East Africa.
I came here because I heard that there is a free medical camp. My body has so many problems. They have given me walking crutches because the one I have was broken, and I'm so glad with them.
The East Africa Medical Mission was an inspiring and motivational spiritual journey of selfless service, where the medical team of the Sri Sathya Sai International Organization offered consultation, treatment, and free medicine across several specialties, including internal medicine, pediatrics, cardiology, gastroenterology, gynecology, neurology, ophthalmology and optometry, anesthesiology, surgery, physiotherapy and rehab medicine, and dentistry. A total of 5,605 patients were served in this beautiful service in just 8 days at 6 medical camps across the very same 3 countries in East Africa, graced by Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba in 1968, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania.
We've got different doctors who have cured different diseases to our parents. So it has been a great pleasure today.
He is my son Muhammad Umar. He was not able to sit with his folded legs on flat surface, but we went to the physiotherapist doctor here in this camp. So after that, he is able to sit on flat surfaces very comfortably now.
I came with my daughter, so whenever she's sleeping, she couldn't sleep during the night. Yesterday she had some medication from this free medical camp. Yesterday night, for the first time after a very long time, she had a very nice sleep, and that was a very happy moment for us.
I've been very privileged that I was invited to this medical camp. It has opened my eyes into learning what the whole Sai group stands for.
As a young adult, this has been an incredibly transformative experience. It's kind of set me up to want to do this work for the rest of my life. So get your feet wet now. As a young adult, come, join the camps, help us out.
On behalf of the government of Kenya, particularly the Ministry of Health, we express our appreciation for this partnership that is bringing everybody together so that those in need of treatment can be treated.
Brothers and sisters, it would be impossible to summarize how the mission inspired by Sri Sathya Sai Baba is reaching every corner of the world in just a few minutes that I have here. But what I can share with you is this: the mission, the message, the work, and the transformation is reaching every corner of the world and transforming lives. And so in closing, I can only end with a prayer that is fitting to all of us, in the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, that our God may give us the strength, the wisdom, and the love to love our God with all our might, with all our mind, with all our heart, and with all our soul, and that He may give us also the strength and the wisdom to love every single one of our brethren as ourselves. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Please, can we give another round of applause for Alejandro? In just 11 minutes, he took us for a world tour, and I think it's amazing the kind of work that SSSIO is doing, and I don't think anybody else could have really summarized what they do in such a short period of time. Thank you, Alejandro. My name is Leela Prasad, and it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce to you our 2 highly distinguished guests of honor for today. But before I do so, as Alejandro was taking us on this tour, I realized that a lot of you, please put up your hand if you flew into Nairobi from outside the country? Please put up your hand. All right. I think a lot of you have been spending a lot of time sitting in aircrafts. So I want to do this a bit differently. You know, I'm Kenyan, and we do things a bit differently. We work hard, we play hard, right? So I want everybody to just please get up for a moment and stretch your legs, stretch your arms. You know, move your neck around, please. I know you've been spending a lot of time sitting down. Yeah, please. I want you to understand that in Kenya, and take your time to sit down. You know, you only need to sit down when the VIPs come, not when I'm here. So please take some time. You know, in Kenya, it's very hard for us to separate the serious matters from humor. So you'll see some of the things I say today, and please don't take it wrongly. Humor is a big part of Kenyan culture, right? Because to hide the struggles we face in Africa, we sometimes have to look for reasons to laugh, right? And I think the SSIO is one of the biggest reasons we get to smile in this part of the world. Now, and please feel free to sit down, stand up, whatever you feel like, keep stretching, use some space. You know, if you really want to even bend over, do whatever you want, okay? Whatever makes you feel happy. But this is going to be a bit interactive, and I wanted to ask you all a question. How many of you have used AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT? Please put up your hand if you have. And don't forget, Dr. Reddy mentioned that truth is a big part of, Satya is the first part. So be honest. Please put your hand up and keep your hand up if you used AI or ChatGPT. Baba is watching. He's sitting here and watching. Please be honest, all right? There's someone back there who has both their hands up. You know, what that means is that, yes, one hand represents that they use ChatGPT at work, but also that they use it for the most important thing, replying to their wife's WhatsApp messages, right? And I know how that works. Dear ChatGPT, my wife is really angry. You know, I'm still at work and we're going to be late for Sai Bhajans. How do I reply, right? And you see ChatGPT working its magic. 5 seconds later, it pops up. And this is what came up. God accepts all that come with a pure heart, whether you're on time or late. Om Shri Sai Ram. Right? The husband copies it, pastes it, sends it to his wife. The wife sends a smiley. Life is happy once again. All is well in the world. But jokes aside, you know, and I'll come to it when I speak again, I feel like AI has a lot of similarities to Baba. And I'll get to that. A lot of similarities. Both of them make life simpler. Both of them give you a lot of meaning. Yeah? And both of them give you tailored responses to your needs. You know? And I think, if anything, those of you in the audience who have interacted with Baba, for you, AI is not a big deal because you've already experienced it through Baba. You know, providing solutions for you and making your life much more easier. But I always remember one thing that my father says, that never hesitate to ask for help and never hesitate to give help. And so when I had to prepare these introductions for these very important guests today, I first asked the person that I always asked. I said, Baba, please help me write this speech. But, you know, sometimes Baba takes time to answer. You know, he wants you to find your way there. So I also went to my second help this time and I said, hey, ChatGPT, help me write this as well. You know, and so this introduction is going to be based on that, and I've made a few tweaks. And I would like to introduce the first person. It's with great pleasure and honor that I introduce to you Ms. Namgya Kampa, the esteemed High Commissioner of India to Kenya. Ms. Kampa's exemplary diplomatic career and her deep commitment to strengthening the ties between India and Kenya make her a distinguished guest among us today. Ms. Kampa is a seasoned diplomat with a wealth of experience in international relationships. And she has served in various capacities in New York, in Nepal, in China, and many more. And everywhere she has gone, she has adeptly handled complex diplomatic challenges and forged strong bilateral relationships. Most importantly, beyond her professional accomplishments, Ms. Kampa is known for her warm and approachable demeanor. And I can tell you this, she is one of the most respected and beloved figures within the diplomatic community in Kenya. Her vision and leadership continue to inspire many, and her contributions to India-Kenya relationships are highly commendable. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, please join me in welcoming a distinguished diplomat and a true friend of Kenya, Her Excellency, Ms. Namya Kampa.
His Excellency Mr. Musalia Mudavadi, Honorable Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs of the Government of Kenya, Mr. Reddy, Chairman of the Sri Satya Sai International Organization, Mr. Leonardo, who's Chairman of the Sri Satya Sai World Foundation, other office bearers of the SSSIO, Mr. P.V. Sambasiva Rao, who extended this kind invitation to me and who's Chairman of the Africa chapter of the Sri Satya Sai International Organization, delegates and devotees, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and good morning. Thank you for inviting me to mark the commencement of this international conference with all of you. As you heard this morning, Sri Satya Sai Baba, in whose name all of us have gathered here under this roof today, has been to only one other place outside India physically, and that is this region that we're in. And I think it's a fitting homage to his visit for you to have this international conference here, I believe for the first time in Africa this time. But frankly speaking, an even more meaningful homage to his message and his teachings that we've heard so much about through today morning, and I'm sure we'll do so over the next few days. The kind of services and the kind of activities we just saw and the initiatives that we just saw through the presentation before mine and the video that was played out for us, that is the most meaningful homage to the message and teachings of Sri Satya Sai Baba in terms of what the organization is doing across the world, including in Kenya and in East Africa. So I want to, at the outset, applaud the work of the organization across the world and say that it is something that we're all grateful for, those in government, outside government, and humanity in general. As you all know, Sri Satya Sai Baba, in whose name we are doing this conference today and across the next few days, was a much revered and respected spiritual leader in India. And while he was born and he lived in India, he belongs to the world. And his teachings and his essential message are universally embraced. And this is really evident by the number of nationalities that are represented here today and have flown into Kenya and Nairobi today for this conference, who are united in their oneness with Sai Baba's message. And Sai Baba also has many devotees in Kenya, and as we saw, a wide range of philanthropic activities that are carried out in line with his message and his teachings in education, in healthcare, in environment, and the impressive medical camps that were recently carried out here. This template of service to society that Sri Satya Sai Baba practiced and propagated, to begin with in India, has spread and been emulated across the world and is being carried forward through people like you who are gathered here today for this conference, and we're grateful for that again. And we feel that energy today and those positive vibrations today that I will carry with me after this morning into the rest of my activities and the rest of my time, to be honest. And his message, Sri Satya Sai Baba's essential message, resonates, as I just said, across time and beyond borders. And it is, as you heard in the morning so eloquently from Mr. Reddy, it is one of compassion, of love, of kindness, of oneness, and of seeking the divine truth. And millions of people around the world are inspired by his message to lead more purposeful lives. And what I see today really is that his message is giving you all power to reach within yourselves for a deeper purpose, and to step outside of yourselves to put that purpose into action. And that is indeed really, really beautiful and inspiring for all of us, irrespective of our position and role and where we come from and what we belong to. And therefore, I really want to again appreciate the organizers for inviting me and for organizing this event to engage with his timeless and universal teachings over the next few days. And these teachings at its heart really inspire us to do our best as human beings and be our best as human beings, guided by truth, by compassion, and by love. And I think that if one had to, as a diplomat, really look at the world around us and at all that's happening across the world, at conflict and war and violence, I think the healing touch of Sri Satya Sai Baba's message has great relevance today and needs to be powerfully spread across communities, across societies, across borders, from one individual to another, from one delegate to another, into the ecosystems you're in, and for it to make an impact, for it to be embraced, and for that chain of compassion and love to grow wider, for it to inform not just individual behavior, but governmental action, non-governmental action, and service to society in all the roles that we encompass in our lives. And so I once again sort of attend this inauguration today morning with gratitude, and I wish you all the best as you take this message forward and as you engage on his teachings and thoughts through today and the next few days. Many, many thanks for inviting me. Asante Nisana. Dhanyabad.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner. You mentioned something when you spoke that Baba might, while he is from India, he belongs to the world. Well, I would also like that to apply to you, madam, that while you are from India, you belong to Kenya, and we hope that you keep that in mind when the time comes to extend your service and your time here. Thank you very much. Now, I know a lot of you sitting here in the audience have had some amazing experiences with Baba. Some in person, you had the opportunity to meet him, talk to him. Some through your dreams, spiritually, I just like to know, like, when you had this interaction with him, how did you feel? Just you put up your hand if you would like to just say how you felt. You know, just one word. Yes, please. Loving. Fantastic. Anybody else from the ladies' side? Blessed. Somebody I spoke to yesterday, they said, I felt lighter. I said, that's amazing. You lost weight. I didn't know that Baba is capable of that as well. But, you know, for me, whenever I've had an opportunity to interact with Baba, I've always come out of it feeling like a superhero, you know, as if he's granted me with these superpowers to do something more, something that I have, until that point, not been able to do. And it's interesting because another thing that a lot of people say is that, hey, you know, I met Baba and he told me in the dream that, you know, this is what's going to happen to me in the future. That this is where I need to be in the future, you know? And I think that's a very powerful superpower to have, to be able to see what's happening in the future, to be able to, you know, to be told that this is where you belong. And I think that's the reason why all of you are here today. It's not that you booked tickets, you chose to register and everything. I think every one of us here today is here because Baba wanted us here today. So, you know, thank you to Baba for making sure that all of us are where we are. Another thing that can also tell the future is AI, you know, and it's interesting. I mean, just imagine, would it be awesome if you could just go into your computer and say, hey, AI, is my flight going to be delayed next week? Hey, AI, I love this country so much. How much is it going to cost me to extend my flights and stay in Kenya for longer? You know, or, hey, AI, is it going to be Trump or Biden that we're stuck with for another 4 years? You know, or something more important. Hey, AI, is South Africa going to finally win and defeat Kenya tomorrow? You know, how many South Africa supporters here? Not too, yeah, there you go. All right, Proteas, we're going to get it this time. Well, you know, while our next guest might not have the superpower to tell the future, he does have the power and the capability to shape the future of millions of people and of Kenya. And so, I want to just put it out there, I'm very biased. I'm a big fan of Honorable Mudavadi. So I said, instead of me, let me ask AI what it has to say about him. So if you don't mind, Your Excellency, I'm going to read what AI has taken from all over the world and said about you. Our guest of honor today currently serves as the Prime Cabinet Secretary of Kenya, as well as the Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Minister of Kenya. His Excellency, the Honorable Musalia Wycliffe Mudavadi. Born in 1960 in Vihiga County, Honorable Mudavadi's journey into public service was influenced by his father, Moses Mudavadi, a universally respected politician and human being. At the age of 29, Honorable Mudavadi was elected as a member of parliament. At the age of 33, he became the youngest Minister of Finance the African continent had ever seen, where he introduced critical reforms that stabilized Kenya's economy during turbulent times. At 39, he was assigned the Ministry of Transportation and Communication, and in 2022, at the age of 42, Honorable Mudavadi was appointed Vice President of Kenya, further solidifying his stature as a key player in the nation's political landscape. His vision for a united and prosperous Kenya has seen him participate in various capacities, including as the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Local Government, where he championed devolution and local governance. As the current Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mudavadi continues to be the voice of reason and a pillar of stability in Kenyan politics. His advocacy for national unity, economic development, and transparent governance has earned him respect both in Kenya and in the international circle. Wow, I'm really glad that I actually used AI because I could not have written that as well. Your Excellency, it's really a testament that if AI is speaking about you being a pillar of Kenya, it shows how great your work has been and how consistent your word has been. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to read one more part that AI wrote. And finally, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi was elected by the people of this beautiful country to be the President of Kenya in Sorry, I think AI just predicted the future. I don't think I'm allowed to read this part. But yeah, I think, Your Excellency, even artificial intelligence knows what is needed for this country. So, to be honest, and this part is from me, Honorable Mudavadi's contributions, to be honest, it's beyond politics. He is a fervent advocate for education, accessible healthcare, youth empowerment, and community development. And he is one person who believes that every single global citizen has a role to play in humanity's progress and works extremely hard to make sure that every person has the platform to do so. Your Excellency, you may not be aware, but you practice everything that Satya Sai Baba teaches. And therefore, I cannot think of a better person to be our guest of honor today. Brothers and sisters, please join me in standing up and welcoming on stage a dedicated public servant, a visionary leader, and one of the most humble and kind human beings I have ever come across in my life. His Excellency, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. And I would like the band to please play for him as he's coming on stage.
Thank you. Please be seated. Your Excellency, Namgyal Kampa, High Commissioner for India to Kenya, Mr. P.V. Sambasya Rao, Dr. Narendrath Reddy, Mr. Alejandro Grana, Vice President, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, hamujambo. That is the Kenyan greeting in Kiswahili. And I wish to say also have a good morning to you all. I am delighted and honored to join you here today for the Sri Satya Sai International Organization Conference. Let me, on behalf of the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya, appreciate the organizers and you all for choosing Nairobi to host this auspicious event, which brings together delegates from all the countries of the world where you have a footprint. I am informed that there are over 300 international delegates participating in this conference. So I welcome you all to Nairobi, our beautiful city, and to Kenya, which is the financial and technological capital of the East African region. As you embark on your discussions during this conference, let us reflect on the universal spiritual teachings and values inherited from Sri Sathya Sai Baba, who founded this global spiritual and humanitarian organization over half a century ago. Your service to humanity through education, medical camps, and community service have touched the lives and hearts of millions of people across the world. Through your work, you have become key partners with governments, the private sector, and the civil society in improving the livelihoods of the very needy in our society. We are proud of the work you have done in many African countries where your volunteers are engaged with the local communities in activities such as school feeding and medical camps. Here in Kenya, you have planted over 3,000 trees in various parts of the country, including Bungoma, Busia, Machakos, and Vihiga counties. Your partnerships with the local schools, community-based organizations, and other stakeholders on the ground is an important contribution to economic and social transformation. I applaud you for this great initiative, particularly because it supports our government's ambitious campaign to plant 15 billion trees by 2032 to enhance Kenya's adaptation to climate change and its contribution to the global reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Through these social investment programs, you are helping to improve the livelihoods of Kenyans and contributing to the realization of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. As I conclude, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the organizers for organizing this forum, for growing the spiritual and humanitarian seed that Sri Sathya Sai Baba sowed to enhance the survival of humanity. I wish you fruitful deliberations and look forward to outcomes that will shape the future of your service to humanity. Let me just take a couple of minutes to speak away from my formal remarks. First, I experienced some of your efforts personally, and there was evidence that came onto the screen. I did not know the statistics, but now I have seen that the few days that the medical volunteers were around in the region, they were able to see or to deal or to treat 5,600 needy individuals in all the countries. That is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. I want you to just reflect for a moment. If it was the normal process, how many days or months would it take for those people to get the formal appointments in hospitals? I don't know. We all have our countries. You can try and imagine how long it takes to get a doctor's appointment in your individual countries. So 5,600 in just a few days is phenomenal. Now, take another step back and reflect. How many hours were those doctors and volunteers on their feet. It's unbelievable. Ordinarily, you want to sit, you want to lie down, but these professionals were on their feet for hours, unending, non-stop. I had an opportunity to talk to some of them, and they said things like, we have been on our feet for something like 18 hours, waiting, dealing with everybody until there was nobody left in the queue. I witnessed it. I thank those professionals and I salute them for a job well done. The logo or the message or the emblem that I've seen, and it's out there, it talks of truth, love, peace, good conduct, and non-violence. What more global constitution do you want? It's all there. In just a few words, the entire global constitution, the humanity constitution is there. In Kenya, in the last few days, we have had our share of upheaval because it's a trying moment globally in many different ways. The danger of climate change is looming all over like a dark cloud. The world must look for the silver lining in that dark cloud and help us overcome the challenges of global climate challenges. It is one of the pillars that you talk about under the Siri Baba agenda. We are dealing with poverty. We are dealing with challenges of healthcare for the millions of people who cannot afford it. We have to work towards dialogue and make sure that there is non-violence. Our Constitution provides for people to express themselves. They did. But of course, the Constitution does not provide for violent reaction. But I want to thank you because what has happened to Kenya is not unique. It is happening in different countries too. But I want to thank you specifically that in spite of the upheaval, you still had the courage and determination to have this conference held here in Nairobi. That is a serious manifestation of solidarity and a message that brings out that we all can work together to resolve the issues and challenges that we face as humanity and as countries. We can work together. We should not run away from our problems. We should confront them, but confront them through persuasion, through logic, and through reasoned conversations. So I really commend you, because in other circumstances, people would have said, the conference is deferred, it's cancelled. But you have stood your ground and you are here. The government remains committed to the rule of law, to maintaining law and order, to ensuring that everybody is protected. And in the process, we also open our doors to say that the conversation must continue so that the issues that will arise from time to time can be resolved peacefully through dialogue, and then we can move forward. Our Master of Ceremony has dwelt a lot on AI. And the truth is, technology was a very strong instrument in the communication that the younger people were conveying this time around. So, the message I carry home with me is that you have to look very carefully at two things. Look closely at the teachings of Sri Sathya Sai Baba, but also look very closely to AI. I think if we can harness those two strong pillars, we can be able to reach out to a lot of citizens globally. Our statistics show that 68% or 70% of Kenya's population are those that are going to be inclined to AI. The demographics have shifted. It's the young people that are dominant in numbers. But we now must make them dominant also in the ideas and embracing peace and having the long-term solutions and embracing patience as we go forward. And the 68-78% that is in Kenya, demographically as young people, is also what is happening in the rest of Africa. It is exactly the same. So there's going to be a challenge in this continent, but through interventions like yours, through conferences like yours, through practical approaches like this, we can make that difference. I step off the podium by acknowledging that one of the institutions that has been prominently featured here, that is the Itando Health Center or the Sabatia Hope Center, benefited from your partnership. They are here somewhere. I think the nurses from there. The light is hitting me, so I don't know where they may be seated. But I've been told they are in this conference room, and I'm happy that they are here. My plea to you is that as you adopt other centers and other institutions globally, please look favorably at this Itando Health Center, this Hope Center in Western Kenya that would benefit tremendously from the kind of talent, human resource, professional resource, and even financial support to improve what they're doing. It's a partnership between the Catholic Church and ourselves. I'm a Quaker. So we have partnered on the ground. My family bought the land and donated it. The Catholic Church came up with some of the nurses and sisters, and we partnered with some friends also from Spain. But we could do much better with the partnership of the Sri Sathya Sai humanitarian touch. So ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to declare this Sri Sathya Sai International Organization Conference officially opened. And I thank you all And may God bless you all for the next few days and also when you return to your various countries. Kenya remains a strong, peaceful, democratic country. And our sometimes very, very forceful consultations should not deter you from visiting us in the years to come. Thank you.
His Excellency, thank you so much. May we please ask you to wait for a few moments here. Thank you for an amazing address, and thank you for your warm hospitality, for hosting us in the beautiful land of Kenya, and thank you for your efforts, as Brother Leela Prasad said, towards social reform and upliftment of the downtrodden. We appreciate your efforts, and thank you so much for having us. We'll call upon Dr. Narendranath Reddy for a small token of appreciation, which is a very special gift from our organization to you, to thank you for your time. Asante sana. We will also share a token of appreciation with the High Commissioner by Mr. Leonardo Gutta. We also ask for all dignitaries on stage to please remain for 2 minutes. We have Brother Alejandro Grana, who will actually release an interesting publication. We've been talking about AI all this time, but traditional publications still have its relevance, as well as is absolutely inspiring and captivating. And so to release the special edition SSSIO Eternal Companion magazine, we have Brother Alex to release.
Thank you, Sister Bahini. Actually, I would like to invite His Excellency Honorable Mudavadi, along with Brother Leonardo Gutter, Dr. Narendranath Reddy, and Dr. Rao, to actually release this special edition of the SSSIO's magazine, Satya Sai, the Eternal Companion, which was launched for the first time in the auspicious festival of Mahashivaratri in 2022. This monthly magazine contains Satya Sai Baba's discourses and letters, devotee experiences, This monthly magazine contains Satya Sai Baba's discourses and letters, devotee experiences, service and humanitarian activities from around the world, segments of history of the SSSIO, updates from the young adults, sweet contributions by our children, and an in-depth editorial on various spiritual topics. The Eternal Companion has something for every spiritual aspirant. The Eternal Companion has something for every spiritual aspirant. Inspirational stories contained in various issues continue to touch thousands of spiritual seekers around the world. This magazine is available digitally and, of course, completely free of cost. You can also contribute your own experiences for each publication. For this, please visit our website, satyasai.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Alex. As is customary, as we bid farewell to His Excellency, we may ask the delegates to please stand and rise for the Kenyan National Anthem.